Good morning, Rapid Freaks. Lexi here. It is Monday, and today I'm doing a Monday moment. And couldn't really, I've been really busy in the last 24 hours since I did the stream yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and just do like a Monday moment on Jakob Pertl. I feel like we're not talking about him enough this summer, and I just wanted to put some shine on him. And the Monday moment I want to talk about is in February of 2022, a new game came out, an app called Pertl, and it's a fun NBA guessing game for guessing players. And I don't know if you've ever played it. If you haven't, it's really, really cool. I'll give you the link in the chat and we can play it together today. It's kind of cool, guys. Uh, let's see what's going on with the Pertl today. I haven't played my Pertl yet today. So if you want to play it with me, we can see what's going on. So basically, what I like to do is I like to put Pirtle's name in first, just to see. Like it's the game's called Pirtle. I'll put Pirtle's name into Pirtle first, and I kind of work from there. But I've also been looking at the silhouettes to kind of figure out who it is, and I'll guess from that sometimes. All right, the silhouette for today's Pirtle is very interesting. It looks like somebody who has a little bit of stringy hair on the side, and I'm wondering who that is. It kind of looks like Dwight Howard. You know what? I'm going to put him in there, even though I know he's in China. Let me put Dwight Howard in here. Maybe it won't take Dwight Howard because it's like, no, he's not in the league. Yeah, it wouldn't take it. That's funny. It wouldn't take it. All right, I'm going to put somebody like Jordan Clarkson. Let's just put Jordan Clarkson in there. Let's see if he gets any. Okay. So putting Jordan Clarkson in, it is not somebody who's in the West. This is an Eastern Conference player. So, this is tough. It's an Eastern Conference player, but they do have a number around 0. So who wears 0? Geez, there's a guy who wears 0 that I just thought about the other day. You know what? I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and put in players in the NBA wearing 0. 0. Let's see. La 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 la. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. You know who I think it is, guys? Because I saw his hair this year. I think it's Andre Drummond, guys. I'm gonna put Drummond in. Andre Drummond. Let's see if I get it on the second guess. No, it's not Andre, but it is a center, and he is in the East. So he's either in the Atlantic Division or the whatchamacallit, the Southeast Division. So maybe he's somebody on Orlando. Maybe he's a center though. He's got a center and he's got who is it? Who is it, Lex? You got to figure this out. This is the game of Pirtle. This is what you do when you play Pirtle. Let's see. I'm gonna. You know what? I'll save the Atlantic Division. I'll go and try somebody in the other in the Southeast Division first. Let's put in um let's put in Paolo. That could be Paulo. That could be Paulo Benchero. No, it's not. It's not Benchero. All right, but it is somebody in the Southeast Division, and they are 6'10". Okay, so we got the right height. They're probably a center forward in the Southeast Division, so they're going to be either on Miami. Ooh, it could be a Miami player. Let me think about who would be that on the Miami Heat that's playing right now. Is that Highsmith? That could be Highsmith, right? Let's see. Nope, it's not Highsmith. So it's not one of the Miami Heat players. I wonder if it is somebody from the Hornets. Maybe it's somebody from the Hornets. This is I'm not doing very good. Usually I do this really good and I get it like on the second or third try. I have a really good record with Pirtle. Do you guys play Pirtle like already without me talking about it today? It's a lot of fun. Who knows? Maybe one of y'all wrote the name in already. Did you do the Pirtle already? Could you tell me who it is? Please tell me who the Pirtle is. All right, let me do this. I'm gonna see. I do cheat when I play this. I'll go look at the rosters because in some ways I don't really pay attention to some of these teams that are just like junk teams. Ooh, it could be a Hawk. Maybe it's a Hawk. Let's see if it's a Hawk. Um, is that who it is? That doesn't seem like that's who it'd be. No, I don't think it's a Hawk. Let me see. I'll bet you it's one of the Charlotte Hornets. I'll bet you it's one of the Charlotte Hornets. I'm gonna guess that next. Let's see. Is that a Charlotte Hornet? Um I can't tell. I can't tell who this is. They're in the Southeast Division. They are 6'10". So, maybe I should look for 6'10" people. Okay, it's not somebody on the Hornets. Is it somebody on the Magic? Let me check the Magic. Did I check the Magic already? Yeah, I did. It's not the Magic. It's not the Heat. So it's got to be somebody on uh, Washington. Maybe it's somebody on Washington. That's the team I always forget. Let me try Washington real quick. I know this isn't like the best Raptor Freak stream ever, like me playing Pirtle, but it's kind of fun, I guess. Let me see. I'm going to search this down. Who is that? Who is that person? They're 6'10". All right, I'm gonna guess Gafford. It could be Gafford, but I don't think it is. It's not Gafford. I'll bet. No, it's not Gafford, but it is a forward center who's 24, who's in the Southeast Division. So it's got to be somebody who's on uh, Atlanta. It's got to be somebody who's on Atlanta that I just didn't see. Let me look one more time in Atlanta. La 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 la. We'll finish this up soon. That's not Clint Capella. It doesn't look like Clint Capella, so that doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna look at Charlotte one more time. It's got to be either Charlotte or Atlanta. Come on. All right, somebody who's 24 and 6'10". Who is 24 and 6'10"? There's nobody on this list that's like that. I think that this one's broken. I'm gonna put Montrezl Harrell in just for fun. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. All right, I only have two more guesses. I'm in big trouble. All right, let's make sure this isn't somebody on this team that I'm just missing. I'm gonna put JT Thor in real quick. JT Thor. Let's see if it's not the right hairstyle, but whatever. It's not Charlotte. Okay, so it's got to be somebody on Atlanta, no matter what. It is an Atlanta Hawk. Just got to figure out which one it is. All right, hang on. You don't have to cheat. I cheat though. I just do. Because seriously, the young players, there's so many new young players that I just don't know. So it's really hard for me to just go off the top of my head. All right, this is saying it's Bruno Fernando. See how obscure is that, that it's Bruno Fernando. And that is right. It is Bruno Fernando. I got it on the eighth guess. But I did cheat, obviously. I cheated. But whatever. I want to keep my win streak alive on Pirtle. So yeah, Pirtle's fun. You guys ever play Pirtle? It's fun. I just got it. It's Bruno Fernando that today, just to ruin it for everybody. Bruno Fernando, put it in Pirtle, you win. All right, let me see. All right, let's see what y'all are saying today. Nameless is in first. Messiah is taking so long because he's trying to find the next lifer in Toronto. He does not want to do this process again here. You know what? I think that, it's not that he doesn't want to do the process again. I think that he's just very meticulous and smart about how he's going about it. And I think you're exactly right. Now, there was news late last night that Monique broke in our Facebook chat saying that Sergio didn't actually come to Canada. He was supposed to fly over on Friday night, but he didn't. He's still in Italy. He did not come here this weekend. And they're going to do the interview over Skype instead of having him here in person. Now that may mean that he isn't going to be the candidate. Like that actually backtracks things on me. If they're going to go to the trouble of flying him all the way over here from Italy in the middle of his playoffs, they were probably going to hire him. But if they're not doing this, they're not bringing him all the way over here. That signals to me that maybe Jordy is going to be our next coach, and that they're not going to even bother putting Sergio on a plane to fly out here. But they may do a final interview with him, and we'll see what's up. So that's the latest news on Sergio is he didn't actually come to Canada this weekend, and he's still in Italy, and they're going to do the interview over Skype. So to me, that kind of tells me that I think Jordy's going to get hired, guys. I really do. I really do think that. Yeah, Nameless is saying, so he's finding our international coach for our international team. That's right. The Raptors are a very international team, the only international team in the NBA where they are. And then a lot of the players are international also. We have quite a assortment of flags in the OVO Center on the wall representing all the different countries that our players play for. Monique is here. Good morning, everyone. Don't put your phone down in an interview he did yesterday with Forbes. Nameless, think about it. Good talking to you, Lex, about Jordy. Patience times now, right now. Yeah. There is a Masai interview with Forbes. I've only seen a 5-minute clip of it. The interviewer is kind of funny. And then Masai says, You are the one we're hiring as the next head coach of Toronto. And the guy says, I'm not qualified, Masai. I don't think I can do it, but I'll come on as an assistant. And Masai's very jokey about it. I like to see that he's having fun with it, as far as like he's not real serious and maybe like we haven't got a coach yet. He's more like, you can be the coach interview guy from Forbes. Yeah, you are my new coach. I'm announcing you. And he's like, what? Really? And what if the news like actually caught on to that and like took it as a story and said Masai Ujiri makes Forbes interviewer next head coach of the Raptors? That would be crazy. This crazy world we live in now. They take jokes as reality, and then they say, "Oh, this is your new coach, Toronto Raptors fans. He's the Forbes interviewer." That was a fun interview. Now, is there a half-hour version of it? Because I've only seen that little 5-minute clip, Monique. I want to find that whole interview with Masai because I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff in there. I'm sure it's on the Forbes website behind the paywall, though. That's probably why I haven't seen it. Nameless is saying, I love this team and sports so much. It's not funny. It's very serious. Too bad my father was 5'4". Laugh out loud. Nameless wish he was. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. Yeah, that's what Nameless is saying this morning. Like he wishes he could have been a little bit taller, so he may have played himself. You can still get out there and do stuff. Come on, don't let the height stop you, Muggsy Bogues, baby. Just get out there and do it, baby. Trevor's saying, "Good morning, Denver and Miami. What a game last night. There's no quit in Miami. This is going to be a fight to the death." All right, I have some interesting takes on the game last night. The refs totally gave that game to Miami last night. They were very obstructive to last night. If you noticed the game last night, that there was no real rhythm in the game, it wasn't a smooth game. The referees were very much manipulating the game a lot in the game last night. Of course, you can see the goaltend that Bam Adebayo had on Jamal Murray at that point. That was definitely a goaltend. In fact, when in basketball, when you're reaching back like this on a block and it's behind you, that's almost always a goaltend. That you have to be kind of forward with your hand and coming forward and kind of pushing down, and that way it looks in the physical motion of the block like you're getting it before it's coming down, because that's the whole important thing with a goaltender or a block shot is where's the ball in the arc. Well, with that play, Bam is obviously getting it while it's about to come down. It's already turning down, and because his hand's behind his head to block it like this, that totally shows that it's a goaltend. But that's not the only blown call last night. The referees were blowing calls left and right. And then they were acting like somebody put it on Twitter, angry referees. Well, that's the kind of thing where, they know that Denver's a really smooth team, very efficient. They can do things really easily. And they were kind of messing that up. They were busting it up. They do this to the Raptors all the time. In the season, we had good periods where we'd start to get our offense going finally, and the referees would call some crazy calls and mess up that good energy and good synergy at that moment of our offense getting going. And well, they were doing that to Denver last night. And the other thing you couple that with is that Spoelstra switched his strategy for Jokic to let him shoot. He said, I'm going to let him shoot all he wants, but I will not let him pass. And you saw that he didn't get the assist numbers he normally gets. He did not get the triple double, and he scored over 30 points. Well, that is a tactic that people have used on Denver that is very effective. This is something we've used as a team in the past where go ahead and let the big guy have their shots. We did this to Denver, actually, where we'll let Jokic play and he can score all he wants, but he's not going to get anybody else involved. And that's really the key to success for Miami in winning the game last night, along with them hitting a lot of threes, winning the turnover battle, and the referees helping them. That's the formula. And you see, they just barely won. They just barely won. Of course, the NBA wants this finals to be more exciting and more competitive. And if Denver just blew them out, like again last night, people would tune out the next few games. So they have to have drama. They have to build it up. I still think that Denver will win overall, but this is surprising. It's a very interesting win by Miami last night. But I will say that the Heat did have some hand-holding from the referees last night. That, yeah, there were really bad calls. I'm going to say there are bad calls for both teams, but there were really bad calls from Denver. And you couple that with Spoelstra's really smart decision to stay at home and not double Jokic or just let him not pass. Don't let him pass. And it worked. It worked. Cool Cat is in the house. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Good morning to you, Cool Cat. Look out, Cool Cat. It's our week. We're going to be playing each other in the fantasy WNBA this week. The third matchups are starting up today. Get your lineups ready for tomorrow. No games today, but the third matchup for me is Cool Cat. So it's Raptor Freak versus Cool Cat starting tomorrow on this week. Let's go, Cool Cat. It's going to be fun. Some of the other matchups for this week are Tom versus Bradley. We've got MK versus Fiercey. We've got David versus Gerald. And then Monique is playing Edmund. So check your fantasy WNBA teams and get them set for this week. A nice clean slate to start over and try and win your matchup this week. Really, really good stuff this past week. Gerald, I kicked your butt, Naco the Nacho. Yeah, not even close, baby. You're going to have to come and try harder if you're going to beat me in WNBA fantasy this year because I ain't messing around. I'm doing this the way I normally do it. I ain't pulling no punches. I'm coming in there to win it. Yeah, I want that whistle still. I ain't going to try and get that whistle to none of y'all. All right, so there's the link to Pirtle if you guys want to play Pirtle today. It's Bruno Fernando. Cool Cat saying Jason Tatum. Ooh, what about Jason Tatum? Well, here's a little bit of Celtics news. We found out yesterday that Sam Cassell has been hired to replace all these coaches leaving Boston. Coach Joe will have Sam Cassell as his number one assistant next year in Boston. Of course, Cassell was assistant coach in Boston before, and he's familiar with that franchise. This is really good for Coach Joe and the Celtics. They need Sam Cassell there really, really bad. So them luring him to their staff is really, really good to replace a lot of the people that are leaving. In fact, Sam Cassell may be better than all the people that were leaving. So this is a good thing for the Celtics, unfortunately. But yeah, interesting thing with Sam Cassell going there. Fiercey's here. Good to see Fiercey Salcera. Good morning, fam. The Heat may be turning the tables on the Nuggets. I don't think so. They had a lot of help yesterday, Fiercey. I'm serious. You know, Duncan Robinson, good stuff. They got really hot at 3 at some point, and they really killed them in the beginning of the fourth quarter to get that lead and really kind of hold it until the end. But if they continue to try and do this to Jokic and freeze him out from passing, they may still have success. But they're going to figure something out. Michael Malone was pissed after the game. He doesn't like losing, and he's going to figure something out. Watch. So it will be very interesting to see the first game in South Beach, game 3 of the finals. I don't know what day it is. Maybe it's in a couple days. It's probably going to be on Wednesday. I'm going to guess the game's on Wednesday. I don't know for sure. Let's see. Dana's here. Good morning to Dana. Always good to see Dana. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. I'm out at the cottage again, and I've got some amazing art behind me right here. I forget who the artist is exactly on the wall here. I think is it my grandfather did, or maybe my dad's friend Rain did this picture. I'm not sure who did this picture behind me, but this is like real art that's been in this cottage, I think since the 60s or something like that. So it's been around here for a while. I've seen this picture since I was a child. Let's see. Mike is here. Good to see the Logical Raptors fanatic is in the house. Project Truth always, and salute the real ones. The Lakers fans thought sweeping the Lakers, the Nuggets were going to sweep Miami. But yeah, regular fans saw the Lakers were lucky to get past Golden State. I love how Mike put that. He's really slam dunking on the Lakers there. Yeah, I can't argue with anything you're saying there, right there. Miami is just a gutsy team. They're going to figure out a way. That's what they try and do. They figure out a way, and they do some crazy stuff. Bradley's here. Good morning, Lex and the Raptor Freaks. Bam, bam. Bradley, get your WNBA team ready for tomorrow. Let's go, baby. Let's compete. Yeah, and Tom Duke saying, I used up all my guesses. Good day, y'all. So, Tom, you didn't get Bruno Fernando? It's Bruno Fernando, the answer to the Pirtle today. Pirtle is such an interesting phenomenon because of Wordle. My folks play Wordle, and they're talking and bragging about their scores on Wordle. I was like, well, do you play Pirtle? You got to try Pirtle. No, we just play Wordle. And then I show them Pirtle. And then Adriana saw Pirtle one day, and I showed her Pirtle. And she's like, this is cool. I love this game. It's like, you want to play it with me? And we'll try and figure out who the player is. And she's like, yeah. And she was like, cool. And I figured it out in like 3 choices. And it was Norman Powell. And she was like, oh, it's Norman Powell. Wow. So Pirtle's fun. Play it with your friends. And it's named after our centers, Jakob Pirtle. That's why it's so cool. It's a game named after a Raptor. You got to love that. As above, so below. War Lions here. Good to see you, man. Morning. Yes, Bruno is a big man from Zion. Rookie season French, I believe. Yeah, Bruno Fernando. I remember seeing him running up and down the court with the Hawks and him being like their next big. coming up in their system after Clint Capella being the starter, and then he's like their backup center. And he's a little bit annoying from what I remember. He's really long armed, and he can very much be a pest, like with defense, like as far as like stopping people from getting easy scores around the basket. But yeah, I got to remember him, Bruno Fernando, not Caboclo. That's Bruno Fernando. Yeah. Let's see. G saying it's Wendell Carter Jr. No, it wasn't Wendell Carter Jr. I should have put that in there. Y'all were guessing. I see that. Nameless retracted all his messages. He's probably writing in guesses. Let's see. Nameless is saying, I will be jumping for joy when Jordy is announced. Suck it, Nick. Yeah. Yeah. Suck it, Nick. There's reports that Nick Nurse is trying to wine and dine James Harden to stay in Philadelphia. You know, in some ways, he understands that this team's going to downgrade greatly if James Harden exits to go to Houston. So in some ways, he's trying to save his bacon and keep this guy who's their playmaker right now. Because really, James is the playmaker in Philadelphia. I mean, Maxey can do some of it, but he's not really the same. James Harden's passing skills in the last 2 years for the Sixers have just been phenomenal. And I don't know if they realize just how much he's propped up Joel Embiid's offensive game with his great passes, finding him in an instant in really crazy ways behind his back. Whoop, whoop, just this way. Whoop, Joel here. Whoop. You know, he set him up so good that they're going to find out how much of a waiter he was for Joel when he leaves. And they'll be like, oh, crap, we shouldn't have got rid of. It'll be very similar. If they do this, if they lose James Harden this summer, in the next couple of years, they're going to be saying the same shit about James as they do about Jimmy Butler right now. How can we let Jimmy go? Oh my gosh. Just don't get rid of guys named Jim or James. Those guys are the guys you need on your team, Philadelphia. So Nick Nurse, maybe please, James, don't listen to that tape from Hungary last year where I put you down and made fun of how you play. And you're such a garbage player. Oh, did I say that? No, I didn't mean that. I mean, you're a good player. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. I'll buy you strippers every night for a month if you just stay in Philadelphia. Please, James, please. I'm sorry, Nick Nurse. I'm leaving. It's like it'd be something like that. It'd be awesome. Oh my gosh, it'd be so good. Yeah, I can't wait to see Jordy come in here and be the new young hotshot coach and kick so much butt and wow the whole NBA world because like who is this guy? Why is he doing this all of a sudden on Toronto? That's what I want. Same kind of effect that Nick Nurse had in his rookie year as a coach too. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. All right, let's see. Mike is saying the Bulls blowing it apart. Like I said, Grange could wait. All right, Mike, that's not proper English. Like I said, could DeMar end an era? What? It was more likely the Bulls era was ending, not us clicks, but clicks and playing on people's what? Mike, not English, not English. Is that your second language? All right, I know what he's trying to say, and basically he's saying yes, the Bulls are going to be blown up this summer. I knew they were going to be blown up like in the middle of the season because Zach LaVine and DeMar are not working out together. They're not working out together. And the whole problem with Lonzo Ball has absolutely destroyed that core to be together. Lonzo was supposed to be there to complete it, to make it work, and he has failed to show up because he's hurt. In fact, they're saying that he may never ever play in the NBA again, that his injury is so bad that they're worried he's done, that he's just done in the league, that Lonzo Ball will never play in the league again. So that is really the catalyst for why they've got to blow this team up. I'd love to see DeMar go to another team and have some really good times and success. It could be that he's on the Clippers next year. And that would be really weird if they got rid of Kawhi this summer somehow, some way, because that could happen. And DeMar DeRozan was replacing Kawhi on the Clippers with Paul George. We've seen this interview with Paul George and DeMar DeRozan recently where they are so chummy. They're like best friends from their days growing up in California. And, they want to play together. Paul George and DeMar DeRozan's a good combo. So we'll have to see what happens. I think the Clippers will be where he ends up. Seriously, DeRozan. I'm hoping for him because I'd love to see him go home. He said he doesn't care if he goes home or not, but it'd be cool to see him go home and see him play with Paul George. So we'll have to see how this all ends up, who they keep. It could very well be Zach LaVine still stays in Chicago and it becomes his team or what. I don't know. But yeah, that Bulls team's getting blown up this summer. I knew that would happen because they've had too much non-success for who they are and what they're supposed to do. Even when they do good, it's not really that good. And then Lonzo completely not showing up, completely destroyed the chances of that core to actually get a chance to really see what they could do. and it is what it is. Don't trust the ball. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, that's why I don't want no LiAngelo or any LaMelo or nothing like that on the Raptors. I don't trust balls. Like, I mean, that sounds weird. I don't trust the ball people, the ball family. How should I put that? The ball family. Yeah, that's how I should put it. Don't trust them. All right. Yeah. They're like their shoes, basically. It's like their shoes fall apart while they're running around on them. Well, the Lonzo falls apart. It's kind of how it goes. Let's see. Monique saying, good to see OG get recognized by Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, there's a clip. Let's go to Instagram, check with the Instagram today because I've got Monique on my Instagram. I want to look at what she's talking about. First of all, the stuff about Sergio not coming to Toronto this weekend. They're going to do a Skype interview instead. And then she has a clip with Donovan Mitchell talking to an interviewer, and he's naming his top 5 defenders in the NBA. And the third name he names is OG Anunoby. And I love hearing that. Donovan giving him shine. Drew Holiday, Lou Dort, OG Anunoby, Brooke Lopez. Those are some of the names he named there. Malachi Flynn is in San Diego, his hometown there, and he is at the Padres game, it looks like. So Malachi getting some baseball in over on the West Coast there. Siakam is celebrating Real Madrid in the Cup. I guess that's Kareem Benzema. So, of course, Siakam very much has a soccer fan. He loves celebrating soccer stuff. And there's him he's watching the game at home. You can see, I guess that's at home, some really cool, looks like panther or leopard, cheetah statues and the TV on the wall. Very cool stuff. Enjoying his soccer. And then, of course, Siakam putting out all kinds of good pictures recently on social media of him working out, also at the islands and stuff like that. You go, Siakam, live your best life, come back recharged, and make the Raptors a huge winner next year. Coloco's posting a video, but I don't know if it's the video that he was in with Burna Boy. I'm not sure what this video is, but Coloco's posting videos basically on his Instagram. Not a whole lot going on there. Oh, Gary Trent Jr. Is in Miami now because Senior is running around. He documented his whole weekend. He was all over the place. I think he went fishing for a little while this weekend. Then he was at a party in Fort Lauderdale. There's a lot of booty shaking going on there. One guy looked like he needed CPR after one young lady was on top of him. It was pretty crazy. And then now they're at a workout center, and Gary is on the ball, and he literally on the ball, and he's throwing the ball, and he's working really hard. We know these epic workouts with the Trents in the offseason are fun. We saw Gary run around cones on a beach in Miami once. And well, now he's working really, really hard in Miami, throwing the ball on the ball. So Gary is on the ball. Let's just say that. That's a good way to say it. He's on the ball. Gary's on the ball. So there's your Instagram check for today with the Raptors. Not a whole lot going on with them yesterday. But yeah, some cool stuff. Malachi at the Padres game. All right, let's keep going. Kareem Thomas is here. Good to see Kareem Thomas, one of the funniest Raptor freaks in the world. I love hearing from Kareem Thomas. Good morning. Just waiting for a hire. The suspense is killing me. I know. In some ways it is and it isn't. I mean, in some ways we're screwing with people. In some ways we want a slow news day so that our hire gets a lot of shine. We don't want to have assistant coach Sam Cassell for the Boston Celtics hire on the high headlines over our head coach hire in the ESPN like stories. No, we want to be the number one, the main story of all the coaching hires, assistant or head coach on that day. So some ways, that different teams have hired different head coaches on different days to get them their spotlight. Well, the Raptors will have their day this week at some point. I know they will. Hopefully it is today. I'd like to see who our coach is by today, but we got to still be patient. We've been patient all along. We might as well continue to be patient, but I can't wait either, Kareem. I am anxious too. I want to get going on this and really know who we got. Infamous is saying, salute the freaks. It's within the benefit of the league to have the series extended. Oh, yeah. More money for the NBA, not surprised. Yeah, this is kind of an important game for them to let Miami win is because then people won't tune out. Like if Denver, like I said, if Denver came in there and blew them out by 15 or 20, like the first game, this series would be over in a lot of people's minds already, and they would probably not tune into game 3. Well, now they have a tied series, and there's a lot more drama, a lot more ooh, can Miami be gutsy and win another one at home against Jokic? Will Jokic come back and strike back? Will the Empire strike back? What's going to happen in this game next? There's more intrigue with this outcome with what happened last night. But definitely know that ref manipulation was a huge part in Miami winning. They would not normally win against Denver, and they do need help from the hand of the refs. And they did. They stopped up any kind of flow that Michael Malone and the Nuggets started to try and get on offense. They really chopped it up with like, oh, whatever call, blow the whistle, slow down the game all of a sudden, go watch cartoons for a little bit and talk over there. Say, hey, what is this? Hey, no, let's just stop. We're going to talk for a sec because we need Denver to slow down real quick. They're kind of getting going. Yeah, let's talk for a second. Hey, how's your vegetable garden? Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah. All right. Let's act like we're watching this little screen for a second. Oh, yeah, that looks good. All right. How can we get this call wrong? All right. Stuff like that. They're probably doing. Let's keep going. Monique is saying they did the interview in parts on YouTube with Masai. Okay. So there's other clips of it. All right. I need to just go piece it together and find the other parts too. I only saw that one part where he said that the interviewer was the new head coach. So Evelyn's saying, good morning, fam. Nice to see Lowry being interviewed after the game. He really played well. That's awesome. Yeah, I love Lowry's smiling. Lowry's happy. Lowry's getting more accolades, more shine. We love that. We want Lowry to be happy. But I don't know if I want him to win the next championship. That's the one thing I'll say. Cool Cat saying, I love that MA is taking all the Boston Celtics coaching staff. That means the staff supports MA. Yeah. In some ways, it's not a fun job in Houston compared to Boston. Boston's more likely to win next year than Houston is. So these guys must really like MA or they like the challenge or something like that. It could very well be that they were MA's guys all along and that they didn't want to take the year off and lose their salary. So they just stuck with Boston. But they are his really close friends and really close people that he's worked with. And they're just like, yeah, I want my guys back, Boston. You don't get my guys. I'm back in the game. I'm in Houston. They're coming here to me. And those guys were probably like, yeah, we may not win as much in Houston, but we're going to go be with our guy, MA. So yeah, I think that's how it is right now with them. Cause they could have, I don't know. They could have stayed probably. And some of them did. Fiercely Salcero saying WNBA fantasy was a great initiative, Lex. Although I have poor results, I'm getting to watch highlights and see tons of talented players shine. This is exactly what I wanted to hear, Fiercey. Like, seriously, I'm learning so much more about this league, too. Like, I really love Jewell Loyd right now. Holy crap, she is good. She is so good. She tied the WNBA record this weekend with 8 3-pointers in one game. And holy crap, she is such a phenomenal player. I lucked into getting her. I had the last pick in the first round, and she was my first pick in that round. And I'm so lucky I got Jewell Loyd because she is like one of the best scorers in that league. Holy crap, she's so good. But yeah, I'm learning so much about the players in the WNBA, and I'm glad because I want to watch it and get more into it, especially if there's going to be a Toronto franchise coming to us soon. We need to know who these players are so that we can talk soundly and intelligently about their league also. The summer content on this channel may get a lot easier for me if we have WNBA games to do previews and reactions to in the summers to come as far as a Toronto team. So I better know my players in that league. And you watching the highlights and learning more about that league, this is such a great byproduct. That's why I wanted to do this. I want to get more people into it and understand it better. And fantasy is such a great way to open the door for people. It really gives people that want to have a vested interest a reason to tune in and watch. Like, go Jewell Loyd. Yeah, Jewell Loyd. Oh my gosh, she is so good. She is so good. And I am a big kind of Seattle Storm fan because, I like that team. And I like the fact that they still have a team, even though they don't have an NBA team. Now, speaking of that, Adam Silver signaled yesterday that once they get this TV deal done next year, they will expand the league again, the NBA. And I'll bet you they'll put that team back in Seattle, the Supersonics. That will be one of the teams that comes back, but there'll be a second team. I still think that they need to put a second Canadian team back here and that Montreal would be a great city. If the NBA put a team in Montreal and a team in Seattle, it would help balance things with having 2 Canadian teams in the league instead of just one. Now, we've debated whether that would be good or not, but I think it would be good because it'd be good for a rivalry for Toronto with somebody here in Canada. And even if it divides the Canadian fans a little bit up across the country, it just will make Toronto not seem like they're on such an island in the NBA as being the only Canadian team. So I'm really for NBA expansion next year to 32 teams. That's a nice square number where you can have really even divisions and do all kinds of interesting stuff. And then I'd love to see Seattle get their team back And I'd love to see Montreal get a team also. Those are my two picks for cities that should get NBA teams when expansion comes. So yeah, let's keep going. Cool Cat saying Miami's 3-point shooting is a secret weapon. When they are on, they keep moving the ball until someone is open for a three, looking to see the comeback. I want Denver to win, crush the ESPN media. Yeah, in some ways, this is part of why they want to do this, is because Miami's the more attractive team in a lot of ways to the league. They're a bigger market. There's a lot more like prestige to them. The whole idea of them coming from the play in and being the eighth seed and making something crazy happen. If they could write that story somehow to help them win against the Nuggets, they will, because they don't really get anything from the Nuggets winning in some ways. There's way more prestige for the NBA if Miami wins this finals. And I hate that. I want the team that deserves to win to win. And if there's somehow, some way Nuggets don't win because of some sort of weirdness with the refs and NBA manipulating things, I might be upset, because Denver is the best team and they should win this finals. But if somehow, some way Miami scraps to a win in the series, I will be very like looking at it kind of like, yeah, they were helped, because they were definitely helped last night in the first win that they got in the finals last night. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, the 3-point shooting for the Miami Heat is absolutely key for them to win. I mean, we saw how bad they were in the last series with Boston when they didn't hit their threes and they were allowing Boston to come back. So they need to wake up their 3-point shooters to be successful. And without that, nope, they don't win unless they hit threes. G saying refs may have helped, but 17 threes is something they did by getting open. They stopped Joker's assists and played Love to start and Kyle to close. Smart winning vets. Yeah, I'm not going to say that they didn't do the right things to do it. I'm just saying that there are some fishy things about the game last night. But Spoelstra really did like do the best that he could do with the Heat to maximize the potential to do that by really making smart decisions. And those are really good ones, G, you're talking about right there. The fact that Kevin Love started again last night was huge. And also Lowry to close is always a good idea. I think that should just be a prerequisite. Kyle Lowry needs to play the last 5 minutes of the game. He just has to. I mean, you're stupid if you have him sitting on the bench and you're in crunch time and you have such a brilliant, smart basketball mind sitting there. Yeah, that's just, you should be fired, Spoelstra, if you can't play Kyle at the end of the game. Holy crap. Yeah, they did really good working the ball around to get open. So we will give them credit. And 17 threes is nothing to laugh at. That's a lot of threes. And that made up a lot of points for them. The free throw shooting was very even. Both teams got around 20 free throws. So it wasn't anything like that. Like I said, it was really kind of stopping the flow of the game in weird times with weird whistles that you know how it feels when they do it to the Raptors. Well, they did it a little bit to the Nuggets last night. Let's see. Nameless is saying this series should be a sweep, really and truly, but politics is going to bring it to 7. Well, I don't know. A lot of experts are predicting Nuggets in 5. That last night, maybe the only game that the Heat win. We'll have to see. They have to play so good. They have to play mistake free. They have to be hitting their shots. They have to do a lot of things right. And they did a lot of things right, and they got there last night. And that's how they did it. Seymour saying, I haven't played my 2K23 in a minute, but when I jumped into my franchise mode, I had Jordy as our coach. I tripped out thinking, did it happen already? Weird. Whoa, that is weird, Seymour. That is really cool in some ways. So what if the NBA 2K23 game developers already know who our new head coach is and they just switched it on our game all of a sudden already ahead of time? That would be really crazy if like that is like a foreshadow of what is going to happen, Seymour. That you get on your NBA 2K23 game and you see that the Raptors coach is Jordy Fernandez on there all of a sudden with your update. That may be like, holy crap. Like, I love the little face. That's a whoa, the whoa face. The whoa face. That is weird, man. That is very weird. Fiercely saying, if Nick Nurse knew for sure Fred VanVleet would join him in Philly, he would never wine and dine Harden. Ooh, that's a really good point, Fiercely. Yeah, I know. I'm still 50-50 on what Fred's doing. Seriously, I feel like Freddie and Gary really do love being in Toronto, and they are for real Raptors. But in some way, I feel like they're being torn, like kind of like influenced to come away from us, obviously. But in their heart, really what they want is to just stick around and play with our dudes. Our guys really do like playing with each other, and they really are excited to see how much better they can get. So it's kind of like if Fred left now, he would be like, holy crap, what if they blow up next year without me? And I won't be there to be a part of it. And I put in all the work to build it up in the time while I was there. That's part of it is like, why would you want to leave right when we're about to explode and figure it all out with this core? So I don't know. It's such a mystery what's going to happen with Gary Trent Jr. and Fred VanVleet this summer. And I think you're right. That's a good point. If Nick is trying to really get James to stay in Philly, that means he may not have a backup plan coming with Fred VanVleet coming there. Mike's saying context. Lakers fans were saying that the Nuggets weren't anything and it was Lakers in 4 for them. So based on their logic of thinking, the Lakers were a championship team. Nuggets are good, but not. Man, anything Lakers fans thinks is ridiculous and weird. I don't put any. They're some of their fan bases. All right, first of all, remember we got that report the other day, Mike, that the Lakers fan base is the second dumbest fan base in the NBA, only behind the Warriors fan base. So yeah, there's a lot of dumb things that Lakers fans say online all the time because they're literally one of the dumbest fan bases in the league. I'm going to be able to say that now because there's scientific evidence. Somebody did a study and there's truth to it. Let's see. MK saying, laugh out loud. Why does your nurse sound exactly like your dog? Somebody noticed that finally. I don't know. I guess they do. Let me try and do them separately real quick. Maybe I'll have a conversation between the two of them real quick. This will be a scene where Doc is cleaning out the office and Nick's coming in to take the office from him. All right. So here we go. Scene. Oh, hi. Hi, Nick. Welcome. Come in. Come in. It's too bad. My time's up here. Oh, I know, Doc. You did a good job. Yeah, it does sound the same. Wow. I guess it's a gruff NBA coach voice I use. You're exactly right, though, MK. Wow. All right. Holy crap. You were exactly right. Maybe I need to distinguish them a little bit better. I don't know. I'm going to figure something out to distinguish them, but they are the same. You're right, MK. And Nameless is saying, come on, Mike. That's not even proper English. Laugh out loud. I know it isn't. I don't think it was. Like, what was that, Mike? Holy crap. It's just like put random words in there. I love you, Mike. I'm not trying to mess with you. All right. Tom Duke's got an array of funny faces here. He's got the Chomp Chomp guy. He's got the Wow Wow guy. He's got the purple singer. And then he's got a laughy face. Good stuff. Nameless saying, I love when Lex rips Mike for his grammar. Man, I suggest the app Grammarly for you, Mike. I don't know. Mike is a free flowing mind. He has so much on his mind. It just flows out. And sometimes the words get jumbled. That's all it is. I mean, I get it. I get it. Sometimes it's just like he knows what he's typing, but some of the words come out in the wrong order or something like that. As long as I kind of get the general gist of what he's trying to say, I can kind of answer him and you guys get the comedy of me trying to decipher it. So we all win. It's all right. Mike, don't change, please. Don't change. Just be yourself. Try if you can to write it clearly, but if you don't, we'll make the best of it, no matter what. It's all good. But yeah, see, Nameless finds entertainment in it. That's good. Leslie saying good morning. Good to see Leslie Hart. Denver and Miami series is heavy talent versus Spoelstra and playoff experience. That's a really good way of putting it. Heavy talent versus experience. I love that. This series might surprise us all. A lot of people are like, don't count out Miami. Don't count out Miami. I'm sorry. Listen, the Raptors played Miami a lot this season and we beat them. We beat them 3-1. They only beat us once. So in some ways, sure, okay. If Miami wins the championship this year, we can say we beat the champions in a 500 season 3-1. And in some ways, I like that bragging stat because I do look at the record of the Raptors against the two teams in the finals, and then I kind of think about, well, we actually we beat the finals team or the championship team a lot this season, so I feel good about it. Like Denver, we could say that too. We beat Denver for sure in the second game, and we should have beat them in the first game because Scott Foster robbed us. So in some ways, the two teams in the finals, our record against them is 4 and 1.5. I'll say it's like 4.5 and 1.5. I say I give us half a game win because Scott Foster robbed us. So it really is like we only lost 1.5 games to Denver and Miami this past year, and we won like 4.5 or something like that. I don't know. That's my own math, but it's true. We did really well against the two teams in the finals this year. So how, and Paul Pierce is trying to say, oh, these aren't the two best teams in the NBA in the finals right now. Yeah, well, they are because they survived and they got here. You can't just say that, Paul Pierce, you hater, saying, "Oh, these aren't the two best teams in the NBA." Well, it ain't the Celtics. They ain't the best team because Miami beat them. Hello. All right, let's keep going. Names is saying, "Just playing logical." You know we love you, baby. Yeah, of course we love Mike. Mike is, dude, seriously, Mike is killing it on his channel. I'm so proud of Mike and the growth he's showing on his channel. And there's so many more good things coming from him down the road. We're gonna just keep going, baby. You keep going, Logical Raptors fanatic. We got your back, baby. That's right. Fiercely saying, Lex don't trust balls. I don't trust the balls. I don't like playing with balls. I mean, I do like playing basketball, but anyway, it's so funny. I know wording, phrasing. Is that what they say on Archer? Phrasing, Lex, phrasing. You guys like Archer? That's a good show. All right, let's see. Seymour saying Paul and Gordon never been the same since those scary leg injuries. Aaron Gordon, ooh, yeah, yeah. And you're talking about Chris Paul or Paul George? I'm not sure. But yeah, Aaron Gordon had that injury and it changed him for sure. But yeah, Dana's laughing. Good. We got people laughing this morning on a Monday. I like that. I like that. I was going to be outside, but it's a little chilly. I can go outside for some of these out here at the cottage. Maybe tomorrow I'll be outside. We'll see. I'm going to be here for a couple days actually this week. So we'll be out in the cottage country all week. Let's see. Mike's saying without context, it sounds like poor grammar, but piece it works. Like I said, Grange's article. Okay, you didn't say Grange's article. You just put Grange. You know what you do? You short form things without giving me all the little spots in between. I don't know where you're filling in stuff. Grange's article about the play-in could DeMar end an era was wrong. It's more like the Bulls era is ending. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen Grange's article, so I can't comment on it. But it's just that the Bulls thing just did not work. It's kind of clunky. Just because you get two USC Trojans and put them on the team together and they're all buddies and they played in college together, that chemistry is good. But Zach Levine's a weird player. In some ways, Zach and DeMar are very much doing the same thing out there. And in some ways, they don't need more of that. They need kind of a difference between the two of them. I always found that they were a weird pairing. It's kind of like they kind of attack in the same kind of way. And you need to diversify your attack with your different people. And that's why I don't think they should be together. I know they said that they were fine being together and they like being together, but that's just being nice. They don't actually work together. And I think that's part of the problem. And then Lonzo, once again, him not showing up, whatever. That's a big problem there. Seymour saying, I love hearing ESPN say we have no clue what Toronto is doing. Yes, yes, and a goat. I love the goat. The goat. That's Masai right there, the goat. No, this is good. Like, I love that. I mean, if there's one thing that I love about the Raptors is we really don't let anything out. In fact, it's hard for me to do this channel because we're so quiet and so mum's the word on stuff. When I hear little things trickle out, like our three finalists are Darko, Jordy, and Sergio. I'm like, okay, this I hope this is reliable because even then, if I hear stuff, I don't totally trust it because in some ways I'm like, Bobby and Messiah aren't telling people nothing and they could be completely wrong. And then boom, all of a sudden, Jerry Stackhouse is our new coach today. Because in some ways, I feel like, oh, just because they're saying these things and we're hearing these things about Sergio and Jordy, they could come out of left field and have a totally different name, and it was a misdirection. I wouldn't put it past Masai and Bobby to do that. So it is interesting. I love, I don't have any clue to agree for sure, too. Name is saying that's about as much as they deserve, Seymour. Even that's too much. Yeah, yeah. They don't need to know. That's right. Niente. Infamous is saying, quick question. I have heard some people say that if Miami wins the chip, it would be the greatest playoff run in the history of the NBA. What do you think? Oh, man. In some ways, that is true. I mean, in some ways, that really is true. You got to think about this. First of all, the play in, how long has it been around? It's only been around for a few years now. And no team has been this successful out of the play in ever. This is definitely true about them. Now, if they go all the way and win the championship and they break history, in some ways, this is true. And if you look at the teams they beat to get here, it's like the best record in the season. The Milwaukee Bucks, the Celtics, one of the top teams in the East. It's a crazy road. The Miami Heat have already gone down in this playoff. So if they beat my Denver in the finals, I mean, I would have to say it's at least top three if it isn't one of the greatest runs. So I don't think that this is being overly nice in that regard. I think it's true. I think it is actually true. And that's why I don't want them to do it. I really, really don't want them to do it. because like I said, we won't hear it at the end of the bragging from Miami Heat fans. And if they have, like I said, they have this feather in their cap, they can pull it at any time and say, well, what about our team in 2023 when we went from the play-in to the championship? Everybody, we won't hear the end of it from them. Seriously. So in some ways, that's why we need Jamal and Jokic to stop them, is because the bragging rights for Miami Heat Nation will be insane. And nobody needs that in the rest of the NBA. Not Celtics fans, not Sixers fans, not Raptors fans. Nobody needs that. Trust me. Nobody needs Miami fans to get a big head like that. Trust me. Cool Cat saying it would be nice to give Mexico a team. There's a Canada team and a Mexico team. You know, I love this idea too. All right, so what if they do Seattle and Mexico City, and then there's like Mexico City and Toronto kind of balancing from above and below? I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Mexico City is such a diverse and fantastic city. People really don't understand what it's like. It's actually very got a lot of money in it. There's parts of it that are actually like super, super fancy. And they've already got a G League team and they're very successful with it. People are flying in and out and going down there for the games. It may be a little bit of a haul for travel in some of those instances. And if you got a game in Mexico City and then you got to go all the way to Boston for the next game, yeah, those kind of things. But I like the idea too, Cool Cat, because in some ways it's very attractive to Adam Silver to make it even more international. We'll add another country, Mexico, and it becomes even more international. But watch all the really weird racist stuff people will say about that. In some ways it could be good, like we were talking about yesterday, about opening minds about what Mexico actually is really like. Because there's a lot of stereotypes about Mexico, a lot because of the border and issues with there that aren't fair to that country. That country is a lot better off in doing things than people think. And this may shine a light to show people, I didn't realize Mexico was actually really like this. So it could do a lot of good if we do put a team down there, but we probably will have to weather a lot of really racist, crazy, stupid people, especially on Twitter. Trust me, they're going to be saying some dumb stuff on there. Logical saying last part was about media tactics of hype up the worry and want around the team. It's play with people's emotions by using suggestive language to play on the worry and want of Raptors fans. They hijack fans. Well, this is like I said, any playbook that they use in politics these days, they're going to use in basketball and sports. They realize this is really effective at scaring people. Let's talk about crime really a lot and how you should be scared at your house. So you need to buy a gun. So you need more police and all this kind of stuff. When the reality is violent crime and a lot of crimes that have gone down, it's just that we sensationalize incidents that happen and make them bigger than they are. These incidents have happened like kind of like regularly all along. It's just they really focus on them to really scare you that this could happen to you on TTC or this could happen to you. And then they justify more budget for policing by doing that. This is a similar thing. They'll use fear tactics on us with basketball to make us scared and like maybe like change our fan opinion about something because we're scared. I'm not scared about anything right now. Now, the average Raptors fan that's not really in the know and doesn't really understand the true state of our team, they may be a little scared and panicky right now. And the press can influence them and make them a little weird. We know here because we're on the ground every day at 9:30 talking about where they're at with the state of the team that we're in good shape. But the optics of what's happening with the Raptors right now to the average Raptor fan who's not really deep in the trenches like us may be very scary, kind of like pessimistic, and also kind of like I know I'm not going to watch them next year. I think some people are already deciding they're not interested in watching the Raptors because they think we've already downgraded and we weren't that good last year. We were mid. They're going to think, well, they're going to be even worse next year. I'm not going to watch them. Well, let them go ahead. And then they'll be like, oh, crap, I need to come back and watch it because they are playing really well. So, yeah, they don't totally do this, Mike. You're right. Randolph Phillips is here. Beloved Raptors freaks, most informative gang. Good morning. Monday morning. Blessings to you, Randolph Phillips. This day is filled with blessings. Go ahead and get yours. Thank you, Randolph. I need to hear your words more and more sometimes. I got really jaded. I had a tough day yesterday. A lot of things weren't going right. Let's just put it that way. I didn't realize the DVP was closed and I was trying to get north and there was a bike race. So I had to drive north through the city and it took forever. And I had to go to the bathroom while it was going on too. And I got all the way out to a gas station out near here in Cottage Country. And I got inside the gas station. I'm waiting for the bathroom. And the person in the bathroom was taking forever. And then I heard two voices in there. It was a little kid and their mom. I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to take forever. And I knocked on the door, and the guy behind me said, let me talk to them. He was the father of the two people in there. He's like, hey, I don't know what's going on. He's trying to talk to them. And I was like, I can't wait. And I ran out of the gas station, jumped in the car, and just drove all the way to the cottage, and then finally could go to the bathroom. It was just a real trying day. So I need to count my blessings and be grateful, because when you're feeling kind of mad and things are bad and suck, this is the best way to do it, is what Randolph's saying. Find gratitude in your heart, what you feel really grateful for in your life, and then everything will turn around with your attitude and you'll feel much happier. So, yes, I'm looking for those blessings today, Randolph, and thank you for reminding me to look for those blessings when I feel kind of upset and mad because I got to go to the bathroom and I'm stuck in traffic, something like that. So, thank you, Randolph. Blessings to you and the Phillips family, as always. Names is saying, yeah, this whole WNBA fantasy league is just an interactive way to learn the league and players, not necessarily to win. I think the second NBA team will be in Vegas. Oh, that's right. Especially with the partnership the NBA has with the gambling. You're right. They are a top pick for being one of the teams that could possibly expand too. I think Seattle's really high on the list. And I think, yeah, Vegas may be like one of the top three choices too. I always forget about Vegas. And that's the team that LeBron's supposed to own. Like LeBron, if they do this with the timing right, LeBron will play like one more season and then he will go immediately into owning the Las Vegas NBA team. That is his plan. Seriously. He's already said that's what he wanted to do. He's going to retire and then he'll own an NBA team in Vegas, is what his plan is. Yeah, the WNBA fantasy stuff has been awesome, Nameless. I wish you could have been in there too with us. But they could only allow 10 teams in the league. I couldn't expand it to have more teams in that league. So we had the absolute most. They're really just starting it out and fleshing it out and learning. It's the second year they've done WNBA fantasy on ESPN. And, it's going to expand and have more bells and whistles to it to be more like the NBA fantasy at some point, I'm sure. But they're just getting the framework up over the years. Really cool stuff. Let's see. Good comment, Infamous. I do really think it is going to be Vegas. It will probably be one of them because LeBron wants that for sure. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Cool Cat saying, Lex, the reporters are being lazy. There's lots of stories that can be written about the Nuggets. They just don't want to. There's lots of business to generate locally and internationally. Yeah. I thought it was so dumb how they're saying this is so boring. Why are you guys not going into Nicola's backstory? Why are you not going and talking about this dude? Why do you think he's boring? He's kind of really interesting in a lot of ways. His personality is so weird and quirky. And, just because he's a big, goofy dude, you guys really could put him on blast. And you may get a weird market all of a sudden for the NBA that you didn't realize. Because like big, goofy dudes like that, there may be people like, oh, I like Jokic. I'm not really into the NBA, but I'm really like this Jokic guy all of a sudden because he's kind of funny. I really feel like they're dumb with how they try and model their marketing. I think that the way people are saying that we just need to get read to ESPN and how they cover the NBA is really smart. Like whoever said that recently is right on point. If they could get the contract away from ESPN and not have the NBA associated with ESPN anymore, it would do a lot of good for the league, honestly, because it's really tabloid journalism at this point. ESPN is the worst. TNT does such a good job with the broadcast compared to ESPN that it's like if they change the television deal, Adam Silver, get away from ESPN. Now they'll be covering the NBA to a degree already, but don't put any games on ESPN. How about that? Give it back to NBC or somebody or ABC. ABC is ESPN, I should say, NBC and TNT, and just cut out the BS tabloid journalism of the ESPN machine with the NBA because it's a joke. It really is a joke. And they're lazy. You're exactly right, Cool Cat. There's so much that they could write about. They could be writing about Jamal Murray and Kitchener and stories about him. But no, it's too boring. Nobody wants to hear about the Nuggets. Nobody wants to hear about the Nuggets. Well, nobody wants to hear your stupid ass mouth, Skip Bayless, and all you dumbass talking heads on ESPN talking out of your ass. Lakers this, Celtics this, Lakers this, Celtics this, Lakers this, Celtics this. That's all ESPN is. And we hate you for that. Let's keep going. Let's see. Cool Cat's also saying, yeah, write about Joker, Jamal, Gordon. Beautiful stories about perseverance, grit, and excellence. Then MPJ's story. Then the Journeyman story. AA history in Denver. And I learned when I visit there for work. There you go. Cool Cat goes to Denver and she learns stuff about that area of the U.S. That's true. It used to be that the NBA media used to really get into covering the small market team when they made it to the spotlight, but now they don't. They reject it. They don't like, we don't want to talk about Denver. Back in the day, they could make really good feel good stories like Cool Cat is talking about on NBC on NBA on NBC. When they had that going, that theme song, you would get nice pieces with Marv Albert or somebody sitting down. It's like talking to Nikola Jokic or something like that. No, there's none of that anymore. These people don't care about that. They only care about the Lakers and the Celtics. It's messed up. MSJ saying, I feel like Fred is gone for money reasons, mainly as the Raptors won't re-sign him to the big money. That's just my best guess. Maybe the Raptors get him the money in a sign and trade. Weird situation. Well, that's probably most likely. Like he'll get his money if he really wants to get his money. It will hopefully be in a sign and trade where we get something back for him. The Raptors fans are really weird about like losing something for nothing. And if we lose Fred for nothing and we have nothing coming back for him, some of them will be really mad. And then they'll start making arguments about how Masai needs to be fired again. Because, they let Fred walk for nothing. Well, you hated Fred. You said bad things about him all season. Why are you upset about him walking for nothing if you didn't really like him the whole year? I think that it will be a sign and trade, just like Kyle Lowry, if it does happen. And it will help us. It will very much help us. Hopefully, there'll be a point guard coming back in return. Now, the money may be not the right number for us as far as with our salary cap, and that's why we'll do that sign and trade. So we'll see. MSJ's feeling like he's gone. I think he might be right, but we'll see. MSJ's also saying Miami seems able to play desperate ball better than anyone. If it's enough to win, I doubt it. But if Miami hit a hot shooting streak, maybe, but I doubt it. If Lowry wins another Hall of Fame ticket, I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame anyway. Like in some ways, him just making the finals appearance this time kind of puts him in the Hall of Fame, guys. And I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He should be. He's just a Hall of Fame kind of guy. He just feels like one. The fact that he really was a big part of Toronto getting the first championship and a lot of things that he's done in this league, he's very well respected. There's definitely a fame to Lowry's name. So, yeah, I'm with you on this. I don't even know if they have to win it for him to get that ticket to the Hall of Fame. I think he might already have it right now. So, yeah, the desperate ball of Miami is absolutely key for them to be successful and win this. If they don't do it, they ain't going to get it. Logical saying, not gonna lie, I'm wake and bake. See, Mike is really high. That's why he's typing crazy stuff to me right now. I get it. The typing misfires at times, but yeah, my spelling and grammar are poor. No, don't put yourself down like that. Listen, your spelling's fine. It's not your spelling. It is your grammar. Well, we'll put you that. Math and sciences on overdrive is my way of thought. It helps me figure out how to phrase things. You're all good, Mike. Listen. Nameless is just poking a little fun, but not in a mean spirit way. We love you, Mike. You're a family, bro. And it's just, it's part of the entertainment. As we said, me challenged by one of your comments and trying to decipher it is entertainment gold to some of the people on this channel. So you're just like, in some ways, you're like my Ed McMahon, bro. You're like sitting there with me as the co-host, and you make some of the witty banter between me and you is part of what this show is so good about. So don't worry about it. I just said it's kind of like you. This was part of what the show is good about. I guess that's kind of right wording. I don't know. G saying Masai was happy in that interview. Something good is cooking. Yeah, he was. He was loose and he was kind of playful and he was smiley. Yeah, I like that. That is always good. I'd much rather see him in that mood than a little bit drunk on in Raptors Tonight. That was scary to me. I want to see Masai happy and a good energy around him, positive feelings, because that will bode that things are in the works for good things for the Raptors. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see. Monica's saying, as most of you know, I get messages every day on social. A fan wrote to me and said it's a rebuild season, but be honest, what would you title this upcoming season? It's only a rebuild with the coach in some ways. I don't think it's a full rebuild. We really are smart in sticking to a core and trying to develop it over years. And the players know that there's an investment in this. In fact, that's part of the reason why they've really hunkered down and said, we want to stay together. And that's why Masai said, we're not trading anybody at the trade deadline. That's why he's very hesitant to just trade OG or Pascal for one of these draft picks for this draft coming up this month. They really are signaling that they believe in this core. So the person that said this is a rebuild, they don't know what they're talking about. If they start doing moves that look like a rebuild, then I'll call it a rebuild. But this is not a rebuild right now. We just fired our coach, and we're getting a new coach, and we're going to let them test the car out on the freeway instead of Nick. And Jordy Fernandez comes in and drives his car, and whoa, he gets it up to better speeds, maybe better gas mileage efficiency. Those kind of things for our team. And look out. Everybody will be very, very happy we didn't do a full rebuild or tear down, because they were like, holy crap, I'm so glad we trusted in Masai and he kept it together to get to this point. And that is something I think I'm going to very much predict in the next year or two, that if we keep most of these guys together and they start showing huge gains, everybody's going to be like, holy crap, we were wrong. We should have shut up the whole time. And Masai was right. Masai and Bobby kept this team together. And we're so glad, because we're now in a really good place with our team. I'm fully going to predict that's going to happen in the next 2 years. And everybody will be really happy that they made the decisions they did. It's just right now it's uncertain. They don't know if it's going to be successful or not. Well, let's give it some time. And that we're not doing a rebuild. So the person who messaged you that, they're not factually right. Now, if we trade like 3 guys this summer, then it's a rebuild. If there's 3 Raptors leaving, all of a sudden, like Fred probably leaving, that still doesn't really count as a rebuild. That's just kind of a switch in and out. Now, if we do a trade and OG's going too, or something like that's happening, then yeah, it may be getting more into a rebuild kind of territory. But right now, currently, we're not in a rebuild. And Masai's signaling that he's not trying to rebuild. So that's not factually right. G saying Kawhi, Gasol, Serge, Norman, and Kyle replaced by Scotty, Koloko, Jakob, Gary, and Precious. They already did a mini rebuild as far as I'm concerned, went much younger, and people have no patience already. We got to see Pirtle in there from the start of the year. That Pirtle coming in the middle of the season, we saw a lot of good stuff in the second half of the season. If we look at the Raptors' winning percentage since Pirtle came, it was very, very good. And that's what I'm saying. People really are dumb and impatient, exactly like what you're saying, G. We got to have time with Pirtle in training camp, setting up a system with a new coach who has that piece and will be able to make an offense that's kind of centered around Pirtle being on the team. Yeah, we can have a lot of good things start happening right away at the beginning of the season, because we were already showing it at the end of the season since Pirtle came into our team. So I'm excited about it. I love that list of names you've got right there. Is just a really fantastic list. Scotty, Koloko, Jakob, Gary, Precious. Those guys are good players. They really are. Mike saying, I know a lot of words and phrases and understand the logic of words, but can't spell a lot of words. Example, asthma and Stanley Johnson. I know what asthma was, but I don't see it written a lot. I have this really interesting gift that I can look at a word and see the shape of it, and I know how to spell it after that. It's a weird thing. Like some people can spell that way. They don't actually look at the letters. They look at the way the word is shaped and the way it looks, and that's how I remember. Yeah, don't worry about it, Mike. Listen, I don't want to be critical of you, dude. You're a great guy. We love you, Mike. And we don't have to nitpick about you and this stuff. We'll get a little bit of comedy here and there, but don't worry. Just don't get like in your head about this or worried about this. Just be yourself. We accept you for you. It's just fun. We just like that. I get frustrated. You're waking and baking, you're typing, and it did make no sense. That's all it was. It's very simple. Dana's saying next that American NBA fans don't even like Canada having a team. So what would they think of Mexico? I know. In some ways, that would benefit us. Somebody they could go dump on even worse. Yeah, that would be. It's exactly true. A lot of fans are hoping we're almost done and that we'll lose our team right now because we lost Nick Nurse, and they think we're in such a bad place. Oh, let's just take their team away from them at this point is really what they want. There's some very, very American people. They're like, this is an American league, and the Raptors have no place in it. See, that's part of why we get a diss is because there are people that are in the mainstream head part of the NBA, former players, media analysts, people that are in the head office of the NBA that may be very anti-Toronto because they want the NBA to be completely 100% USA enclosed. And they really don't like having to go through customs or come to the border. They're very xenophobic. They're very ugly people. They're very closed-minded. And they've been there the whole time. When people say why, like the question the other day when somebody was saying, why do you think that people don't like the Raptors or they're at a disadvantage? Well, this is another aspect of it. There very is a prejudice in some people's heads. Like, go ask Paul Pierce how he feels about the Raptors. He may straight up tell you, yeah, I don't think they should have a team in Toronto. He could very much say that and believe that deep down inside. He won't say it on the air. But there's people that are like that, seriously. And they're people that are in positions of power around the NBA. And that's another whole aspect that maybe we don't realize Masai has to fight against. And sometimes I know Adam Silver loves the Raptors being in the league, and he will protect them and do everything he can to keep it because he doesn't have an international league without us right now. So it's a weird push pull. There's some very like old school like people that are like the game should only be in America, but the league itself really does want to expand and be more international. So it's kind of where it is. Dana's exactly right. Isaac saying W, fine people. W to you, Isaac Campbell. Always good to see your name in the chat. Logical saying, I respect everyone who helps me in my pursuit to develop and improve my ability to connect. I honestly feel respect for the time to help me with something, hence my intro. Yes, respect, Raptor Freak. Listen, Mike, I love that you come in with the Project Truth salute. I just love that, man. Seriously, dude, you're a really good dude, and the more and more we interact, the more proud I am in what you're doing with your channel and growing, and even on our channel here, the way we interact is pretty good here too. Country Kong's here. Good to see Country Kong. It's been a little bit. Raptor Freak Country Kong in the house. Good morning, Raptors Freaks. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I can't wait till we hire our coach, David Edelman. Looked like deer in headlights during the Heat's run. Has Nash been ruled out? Wow, this is a great question, Country Kong. Um, uh, yeah, I can't wait for us to hire our new coach. Maybe it'll be today. David Edelman looked like a deer in headlights during the Heat run. Interesting. I don't think he's actually one of our top candidates at this point. He was definitely interviewed and he was on our list, but I think they ruled him out pretty quickly. Did you see that his father is getting a big award? He's getting the Coaches Association Hall of Fame award. Rick Edelman. Very, very cool stuff. Nash, I think, has been ruled out. All the signs from Nash's Instagram are that he's back to being a civilian and a family life, hanging around with his wife and kids, and just watching soccer and doing things like that. So, yeah, I don't think Nash is actually a top candidate at this point. We did hear this weekend, Country Kong, that the three finalists for the job for the Raptors are Sergio Scariolo, Jordi Fernandez, and Darko Rajakovic. Three European guys are our finalists. Now, if that's true, then we will probably hire a European coach. But they could come out of left field, like I was just talking about earlier, and just hire somebody that we didn't even know out of the left fields. I wouldn't put that past Bobby and Masai, that they may just come out of the blue with somebody that we didn't even know about. Let's see. Leslie's saying Paul Pierce is a Boston guy. That's it. Miami has Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry, and Spoelstra with so much playoff experience. I will be happy for Jamal, but I will be happy for Kyle too, and no Kawhi. Yeah, it's kind of cool if Kyle won a championship without Kawhi. In some ways, him being a common thread and two championships would be a really big statement. And it would definitely cement him being a Hall of Famer. Yeah, but Paul Pierce is a Boston dude through and through. But not only that, he was on teams that battle with us that hate us, other ones too. Of course, the Nets series, that one where he hit that shot in the lane where he actually ran Kyle over and they didn't call any call, and they gave the game to the Nets at the last second in a very close game. I was so pissed about that game. That Brooklyn Nets game versus the Raptors with Paul Pierce in the lane where he ran him over. And then, of course, Paul was on the Wizards in the playoffs against us also. See, he battled us in the playoffs. So he very much has a reason why he hates the Raptors. We beat the Wizards and put them out that one year, I think, or they swept us. I'm not sure. He's a hater. He's just definitely a hater for sure. Mo's saying, so Lex, how are you streaming the CBL and have you been able to watch any? I have not watched any of the CBL. I've only seen highlights and I just see the clips of people being at them. So I have not watched any of the CBL games. So I'm not able to stream it. I am not able to, Mo. It's okay because honestly, I don't know how much I want to put that kind of workload on me. I don't mind talking about it and like making a big deal out of it and promoting it. But I don't know if I want to go really in depth on it and learn everything about it. I'm already about to take on the WNBA in this way. And I don't know if I want to take on all of our leagues up here like that. I mean, I already have to learn a lot about Team Canada stuff also. So I'm just kind of like tempering my workload. And the CBL may be a little bit more than I want to add on at this point. I'll probably learn more and more as we go. It'd be great if they got a CBL fantasy league. Maybe we could play that. And then I'd really learn the CBL fast. But right now, my main focus is learning the WNBA in anticipation of the Raptors or the Toronto getting their own team here in Canada. So, but I would love to watch more CBL. Part of it is also I don't have a lot of time. I really am kind of taking the summer off to do things out here at the cottage and things like that. Cool Cat Sam Masai said retool. We have the defensive anchors in Pascal, OG, and Scotty. Our starters are top in the league. Only the bench is a challenge. East is very open. Why give your players your proven best player? Why give away your proven best players? Yes, Cool Cat, very, very much speaking truth here. Yeah, I like the term retool. That is more appropriate than a rebuild. A retool is like switch your coach, switch a couple players, and boom, that's a retool. And that is what we're doing this summer. Yeah, I think that our starters, the stats with that lineup with Pirtle when he came in, we had like statistically one of the best starting fives in the league. And we want to continue with that. So we want to keep these guys around. Fred goes, well, what can we do? Hopefully we can replace him in that lineup and it won't be too drastic a change. If we get a sign and trade with Phoenix and we got Chris Paul again, like Chris Paul coming here, ooh, I'm telling you, that might be a good thing. Might really be a good thing. The other thing that Cool Cat's saying here that's really, really true and absolutely right. The East is wide open. I'm sorry. Like Adrian's going to be great in Milwaukee, but I don't know if we can pencil them in to be the best record in the East next season for sure, like they were this year. There may be some transition period that's kind of difficult for Griffin in Milwaukee, learning the lay of the land and how to run that team. So I'm not expecting them to be the juggernaut that they were this past year in the regular season. Obviously, the Celtics are weakened at this point. In some ways, they're on a trend going down, and it really will happen if they lose Jaylen Brown somehow this summer. So yeah, it is a lot more wide open in the East for sure, and that's why the Raptors need to step up and get higher up in the ranking for this year coming up. The New York Knicks are thinking the same way right now. Mike is saying with the season and championship ending, things will start to pick up. Masai and the team called it a culture reset, and finishing the retooling and see how that looks against the league. Signals are clear. I really, really do want us to get that small dog chip on our shoulder again. That small dog at the dog park messing with the big dogs. It has that dog in its fight, even though you're really kind of shouldn't be that tough. Well, that's what I want again. Like you were talking about with your piece with Chris Boucher this weekend. We need to get a chip on our shoulder as the underdog and fighting up instead of being cushy and be like, oh, we're one of the top Eastern teams. We can coast. We don't have to try as hard. Well, that's not Raptor culture. Raptor culture is maybe not having the best roster, but making the best out of it and kicking ass and working so hard. That was what Casey set up with Lowry and DeRozan those years. Those teams that were around Lowry and DeRozan in the mid 2010s were not the most star-studded teams. They had you could actually say our team right now is much more deeper than some of the teams that were going to the playoffs with Kyle and DeMar in like 2013, 14. Look at who was the rest of their starting lineup and look at who were their bench and understand that like we got a lot out of those guys and overachieved. Well, last year we did not overachieve. We kind of underachieved, and we need to get back to that Raptors culture. We have a chip on our shoulders and we have something to prove because maybe we aren't the most talented team out there. So yeah, I'm all about that for sure, Mike. I love that. Cool Cat saying the NBA going global needs to make more money. U.S. market is saturated. Those fighting will inevitably be left behind. Basketball wants to become like how every country loves football. FIFA World Cup fever. Yeah. The NBA is a very popular brand around the world, and it has expanded into different markets more and more. We know that it's more and more in China in different ways. It has been more and more introduced in India, even. There's a lot of different places that are markets that could really, really be like looked at to make more money for the league. And I think you're exactly right. If you have more international feel to it, it may be more enticing to people in other countries to watch. There's a lot of people that have connections to Canada from India, so maybe they were like, oh, we're Raptors fans here, and that's the way you can market things in some ways. So if you have another international team, a team in Mexico, that could really help in the Latin America market. Like maybe down in South America, there'll be more people watching the NBA down there just because there's a team in Mexico all of a sudden. So who knows? I mean, they want to open more revenue and different streams from different places in the world. They should be going more international, like Cool Cat's saying. Monique is saying the show in the NBA hosted Savannah highlighted the big game in Canada. It's so awesome. Yeah, Savannah Hamilton is having a great summer so far. She has a really interesting show that she's on that celebrates the WNBA and really, really good stuff. You keep going, Savannah, and keep working. We're looking forward to next year with you, with what you do with the Raptors on the broadcast, and just keep going. You guys are awesome. Name is the same potential chat cutoff. Okay, that's where we're at an hour in. All right, we'll finish up quick. Like I said, I got to get out there in the yard and do some stuff. Alistair saying, I don't know why people want to rebuild. We are still finals bound, not hating, but we're shown to be better than the Heat and the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying earlier, Alistair. Look at our record against Miami this season. We beat them 3-1. And then also the Nuggets, we definitely beat them in the second game. And then the first game is kind of fishy how they won. Obviously, Scott Foster throwing out Scotty Barnes. Very, very fishy end to that. And we may have won that game if that had not happened. So we can say we did very, very well against the two teams in the finals with our 500 team, 41-41. That's insane. Mike's saying our second half defense was a lot better. Yeah, having a center really helped because the guys didn't have to help so much on a center against us. Pirtle could stay on the center, and that freed up people like Precious and Chris to be more like around in other places and more man to man than having to shadow and double so much against the five on the other team. That was so helpful and such a huge thing about Jakob. And casuals will not understand that about his arrival and how that made us so much better in the second half of the season. They'll be like, "Why did you do that? We should have been buying at we should have been selling at the trade deadline, not buying," is what they would say. Let's see. Race Mode's saying, did we talk about Kyle Lowry and the win yet? I've been traveling and just tuning in now. We did talk about it a bit. I kind of slammed them for how they won, said the refs helped them. But good job. And I'm always happy to see Kyle happy and stuff like that. I did not see the interview or anything afterwards because I didn't really watch the game. I kind of looked at the box score and I kind of looked at what Twitter was saying and different things. And I kind of understand. I saw that play with that shot block by Bam. That was definitely a goaltend. And the game was close. That's the thing. The game score was so very close. It's only 3 points. All that stuff really matters. A goaltend like that, that's 2 points that would have been on the Nugget score for 110. And then it's only a 1 point game. And then if you look at, there's a couple other things that could have gone different ways. Well, my Nuggets could have easily won that game last night. So there was some ref manipulation in the game last night to help the Heat, even the series in Denver. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. Monique saying, in reference to the fan who sent me the message, I just had a few words for him. Not pretty. See, Monique was to set him straight. They messaged her about rebuild, and she's like, no, 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 no. She said, and she rejected that just like Bam Adebayo rejected that shot. Now, if it was a goaltend, I don't think so. I think you were right, and that was a clean block. So yeah, let's see. Alistair saying people don't realize Pirtle makes it easy for Fred. He makes it easy for Siakam too. He makes it easy for a lot of different people. I mean, he just relieves some of the physical pressure of the grunt work around the basket that, shoulders like Scotty and Precious used to have to take. Those guys can be better because some of the physical work that Pirtle is taking up now allows Scotty and Precious to have more energy to do things offensively and do things on the court otherwise. Because half of what they had to do was really physical stuff, making up for the fact that we didn't have a center. Well, now we have a center. These guys can actually do their roles and not have to do so much physical work that really shouldn't be in their job description to a degree. These guys shouldn't have been playing center, OG, in the last couple years. This pissed me off when we played OG at center. I'm like, you are shortening his career because we do not have a true center on this team, and he has to play centers and defensively. That's not fair to OG Anunoby. So I'm so happy that we got bigger players and that OG can almost play the two now. I don't want him playing the five. He should be playing the two. He's so optimal at the two at this point. So I'm so happy about that. Let's keep going. Mike's saying, I think that's the way Masai sees it at the moment. You're correct, Lex. Our team now is more talented throughout the roster. So with the right culture, we could get the right results. W Stream. I just want to say real quick, a congratulations to Joe Weezy and his wife on the pregnancy. They announced late last night that his wife is going to have a baby. Just yesterday they announced it. So Joe Wieskamp going to have a baby in about 9 months. So You go, Joe Weezy, and hopefully you can be a great bench addition, bench contributor for us next season. I think you're right, Mike. You know, our team is underperformed. There's too talented to get these results, and that is one of the reasons why Nick got fired. It's like, dude, you have this really badass roster, and you are not getting the right wins out of it. He really didn't last year. There were so many games that I was like, why did we lose this game? I can think about the game that we went to, Tom Duke, David Saborin, Greg, and us, Peter Saborin. And I was like, why did we lose this game against Indiana? This is so weird. That game is very, very much a good example of the Raptor season. The one that Tom Duke came here and saw is that, you know, that shouldn't have been a loss. That Indiana team was not that good. We were in a desperate place of the season where we needed the wins badly because we were trying to overcome Atlanta in the play-in bracket stuff, and we couldn't get up to beat a team that was lesser than us. And that day on that court, that was symbolic of Nick Nurse's failings. Seriously, you couldn't get your team up to beat the Pacers that day. That was messed up. So we had quite a few games like that last year where we underperformed when we should have played way, way better. Mike Edmonds here, Race Mode Daily saying, Lex, have a great day. I'm still trying to figure out how to update my fantasy team. Take care, everyone. Well, just go in there, Race Mode, and move them around. Like click on the little box by their name and move them into the lineup. And you have to go from day to day. Now there's no games today. So go look at tomorrow, Tuesday, and just make sure you move the people that are on the bench into positions in the starting lineup. You have like 6 positions you can put people in. You got guard, guard, forward, 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 and then utility. And you can play 6 people in any given day. So you really want to have all the people that are on your team that are available to play that day in there as much as possible. So there you go. Hopefully you can figure it out and get more competitive, especially when you play me. You're going to need it because I'm on top of this. I'm not showing any mercy. I'm putting my lineups, my best lineups in there every single day. And I am not showing no mercy. That's right. No mercy at all. Chris, don't take your message back. Put it back, baby. I want to see what you're saying. Rewrite it if you can, maybe. All right, let's keep going. Cool Cat saying my lineup is Scotty at point guard, OG at shooting guard, Pascal at power forward, Jakob at center, and Precious at small forward. Wow. I'm trying to think about that. Precious at small forward. Well, can I just switch Pascal and Precious? Because I kind of still like Precious at the 4 at least, and Pascal at the 3. Pascal actually playing like a three role. He's a tall 3, and that would be badass. Like in some ways, I like that better because Siakam, I don't want him down there doing grunt work. We're going to line him up with the physicality. I want Jakob in there first and Precious in there fighting second. And then, and because in some ways, I look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as kind of that. The 5 takes the brunt of the physicality. The 4 is the secondary brunt of the physicality. And then, you know, the 3 is kind of a slasher who's able to get around and move through people. And that really does benefit Siakam in his game. And then you got OG as a two-way 3 and D player. And then boom, a huge guard with great court vision. Scotty Barnes, heck yeah, I like all that. That sounds really, really good to me. Mike's saying Masai really hates losing to lesser teams and sees that as a true failure. If it's a larger trend that hurts the season, yeah, he's looking to change things. Masai wants to win a lot. Yeah, yeah. He gave Nick his 6 George Karl mistakes and some, and he went way over them. And that's it. That's he hated seeing that how they were losing this year. We just like we did. That wasn't fun for any of us. We saw that, and like the players didn't enjoy it while it was happening. Nick was kind of like, oh, I don't know how Nick felt about it. Maybe on the down low he was giddy because he knew he was getting what he wanted. He could leave because that's really what it is. I really do look at this past season as Nick Nurse pulling punches, not trying hard enough so that the team could be so bad that he could get an exit and get out. That is really why we had a bad year this year. People can say, oh, it's because our bench wasn't very good. People can say Masai messed up. But really, in reality, Nick Nurse failed as a coach, didn't get the best potential out of them. We had a very mid-season, and that is why he needed to be fired. There were a lot of games we should have won that we didn't, that were close, and he had every opportunity to do it. And the past Nick Nurse, that was a better coach back then, would have stepped up and made the team win in those situations. But no, he couldn't get it out of them. So whatever. I'm so glad he's gone in some ways. Some people will say, what? Why would you say that? I am glad he's gone because he was toxic. He was bad for this team at this point, and he needed to go. And everybody who doesn't understand that, they really didn't know what happened this year. They really, really don't. Cool Cat saying, and Lex, regardless of the position on the sheet, we then go into positionless basketball. Well, we can't totally do positionless with Jakob. He's just not quick enough. And that's the problem with that. It would be kind of a thing where, all right, let's put Boucher in there instead of Jakob and have Precious and Boucher at the 4 and the 5. Or maybe Siakam can be the 4 and Chris is the 3. You could do that too. Then you could do a positionless lineup. But Jakob's too slow to do positionless exactly. They'll be able to draw with the rotations. Him will be slow to rotate out to get the shooter in the corner. And that may be where we get in trouble with him in the lineup for positionless. It works both ways. You can't do positionless with a center or a point guard. They have to be all wings right across. So it would have to be Chris subbed in for Jakob and Precious playing center. Fiercely saying Ottawa Blackjacks leading the Eastern Conference in the CBL. You go Ottawa Blackjacks. And I love that there's a Winnipeg team in the CBL now. That's really good for that region of the country to get a regular basketball team. People can get around and get more into basketball in Manitoba. So yeah, you go Winnipeg, go Ottawa. Yes, expanding CBL across Canada is always good. And Name was saying, great stream today, Lex. Get outside and touch grass, you filthy animal. Well, I'm going to get out there with the filthy animals and roll around in that grass. I'll really touch it. I'll be like rubbing it all over my face. Maybe I'll take my shirt off and like rub all over the ground. I don't know. Maybe I won't do that. My parents are here. But anyway, thanks for watching me today. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And tomorrow we are on the final stretch of our Raptor Freak Classic Jurassic Tuesday trivia season. We have 2 more weeks. We're going to play tomorrow, and then next week will be the last game of the season 2. And then the week after that, we will go into season 3 with clean slates. So if you want to get a jump on being the Raptor Freak Tuesday trivia champion for next year, make sure you're ready to play in a couple weeks, because we will be starting at zeros with everybody, and that strong long climb to get to the next year, the next Larry O'Brien will be coming up. David, we know you're going to win, and I hope y'all will join us when we do a celebration of David's trivia championship in town at a location to be determined, at a date to be determined. So thanks for playing that, y'all. And be ready tomorrow, 8:30, more trivia. I've already written up the questions. I already know who it is. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you'll find out tomorrow morning. So come in and play tomorrow morning. It's going to be fun. Kenrick's here. Good to see Kenrick. Nick turned the team from moving the ball on offense to isolation ball every play. He had good defense at first, but it wasn't there last year. Yeah. I didn't like all the isolation. He should have been using the players off each other way more, and he failed in that respect. Thank you, Kenrick, to be here. Y'all check out Kenrick Chronic Art James. He has great, great art. He does it for commission, and he's also a tattoo artist. So if you're looking for somebody to do a tattoo for you, look up Kenrick Chronic Art James. He's on Facebook and other places on the net, and he could do a freelance tattoo for you if you're interested in the Toronto area. Leslie saying we could have been 51 and 31 easily. Nick Nurse killed our team. So disappointed with him. Yeah, he really didn't help us. And let's see. Fiercely saying, who's the trivia on tomorrow? I can't tell you. If I tell you all, you can do all this research and like really learn this person inside out. No, you don't know who it is. It may be somebody I've mentioned in the stream in recent days, but I won't tell you who it is exactly. Yeah, you're trying to pull a fast one? All right. Well, I didn't wake and bake like Mike did, so you can't pull a fast one on me right now. Mike saying, I think Nick tried hard, but his system and roster weren't in sync. You heard Chris say there were too many different schemes during the year and only got in a groove toward the end, but didn't have time. He wanted to try all these different stuff and try and get new tools for his toolbox. But in some ways, you want consistency. And if you're absolutely bringing up different schemes and nothing is really getting practiced and really honed in and done really well over and over again, yeah, that's no good, Mike. These guys didn't have any like concrete things that they could go to and feel comfortable doing. They all look kind of like they were doing things on the fly and learning all the time. That's messed up. In some ways, that's Nick putting the carrot in front of them to chase and never letting them get close to it. Just like, here, come get this carrot, guys. And then pulling it away from them every time they got close. Yeah, fuck you, Nick Nurse. Yeah, I'm glad you're gone. All right, y'all. Thank you once again, and let's go Raptors.